you will need a milligram scale, a pocket scale. You will need some containers to mix your color in. And then you will have to use some acrylic paints, which I will show you in a second. And then just some stirring stick and a little bit of water. You need red acrylic paint. And next you will need black acrylic paint. And the last one is brown acrylic paint. In my case, it is burnt sienna and the red was, I think, carmine red. To mix everything, you will need some kind of spatula. And here I'm using just a recycled container where I will pour my colors in. You can find this or other color recipes in my free PDF file. I'm linking it in the description box. It's the patisserie palette. I recommend you checking it out. The recipe I came up with asks for 8 parts brown color, 1 part red color, and 1 part black color. As I mentioned, you can find the recipe in my PDF, but I will also link it down below. We're using a scale in order to measure out the parts. So what I'm doing right here is I make sure whenever I use a color, we press tear to go back to 0. And we are aiming for 0.8 grams of brown color. By the way, in retrospect, I don't recommend you doing what I'm doing right here if you're doing it for the first time, because it can happen that too much color squirts out at first, and then you will have to scoop away the surplus, or you will have to adjust the other colors. So you will have to use more red and black than you initially wanted to. I think a good way to omit this is to use a small spoon, or maybe a little butter knife, or even your spatula, to first apply the color to your tool and then gently drop it into your container or vessel you intend to mix your colors in. Yeah, that would be smart. But, I think I did all right. I gauged it okay the first time, but sometimes you never know, especially if your colors are sitting in a drawer. There can be air pockets and then everything squirts out at once, and I just learn from my mistakes. That's the best I can do. I make the mistakes and you do it so much better. Okay, so we added 1 part red, which was 0.1 gram of carmine red. And next we will squirt in some black. And yeah, as I mentioned, here you can see me carefully removing drops of red because I just put in too much at first. Remember to press tear every single time you applied a new color, so it goes back to 0 and you don't have to do the math inside your head. I mean, if you want to, that's up to you, but I find it easier. I'm one of those people who forget numbers all the time. Okay, last part is 1 part black, so 0.1 grams of black. This time around I smarten up a bit, put it first on my spatula, and then I'm using a needle tool to gently push it inside the container. And also, good tip, look what I'm doing. I'm not just piling it on to the other colors, no. I put it on, some distance away, so if I need to remove a tiny bit, like I'm doing right now, it's easier. I will not mess with the other colors. Now, why am I stressing this part so much? Very simply put, because we associate with chocolate first its characteristic color. If the color is off, if it's too yellow, too dark, too, red, it will not resonate with us as being chocolate color. And that's why I'm stressing it so much to get the color right. If you don't have the color right, then there's no need to proceed with any other steps. There's no need to mix it into your medium. All right, so let's give it a very good mix. I will fast forward this and give you the finished result, because watching me mix stuff is boring and your time is valuable. Here's our chocolate, all finished. Ta-da! I'm mixing the paint now into my soft foam air dry clay to give it that characteristic chocolate color, please start with small amounts first, because you cannot take away the color once it's mixed in. Once it's mixed in, that's it. And while you mix, please put a lid on your finished chocolate color so it doesn't dry out. If it happens to dry out while you're mixing it more and more into your clay, you can always loosen it up with a little bit of water. Take small amounts of the paint, add more gradually as you go along and mix along until you receive the color that you're looking for. Please remember that soft, or what I like to call foam air dry clay, you know, the one that kind of dries porous, kind of dries matte and ultra light, it will never ever be super dark with acrylic paints. This look you can only achieve with resin clay, which I will definitely do in my next video. Let me know if you're interested. But with foam clay or soft air dry clay, it will always stay kind of pastel-y. It will always be a tad lighter than, let's say, a color of chocolate fudge brownie. It will never be as dense and rich. I hope that makes sense. Just keep this in mind so you're not adding more and more chocolate color hoping to achieve that look. That's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is that your clay will get stickier and stickier with the added moisture, and it will eventually be too hard to work with. So what I'm doing right here, I'm basically making a muffin, a chocolate or cocoa muffin, and I know that it's going to be a soft brown color, and I'm going to top it off with chocolate sauce. You will see. But just to keep in mind that this result will never be as rich as, let's say, a bar of chocolate will look like. Okay, so stick with me and I'll bring you to the finished dough. This is the finished dough. I'm pressing into a silicone muffin cup holder or muffin tin mold, whatever it's called. I'm just gonna press it in, set it aside, and meanwhile I will prepare the chocolate sauce, which will have a glossy, rich, runny, liquidy texture. You'll see. We're grabbing the vessel with the paint, and now we need a splash of water to loosen up the paint a little bit. Please use a dropper or maybe a small spoon and give it a very good mix. Take a little bit of water at a time, because if you dilute it too much, the results will be disastrous. The goal I'm having here is just to give it a runnier texture, because for the chocolate sauce, we will need to add some transparent drying glue. In my case, I'm using wood glue, and actually, I'm thinking it's the only glue that gives you that glossy, transparent finish. Okay? Adding glue, I'm being a bit more generous because I will need quite a lot of that chocolate glaze. Here's the finished muffin, and I'm ready to glaze it with my chocolate glaze. As you can see, it's nice and runny and super glossy. So it's very simple, just like you would do with real chocolate. Just drop it over the surface of your baked good, or in my case, my air dry clay foam muffin, and just drizzle it over the top. Take your spatula, and then we will just gently massage it and spread it to the outer edges of the muffin. I'm doing this very carefully. I'm not really dipping the spatula deep in there. I'm just basically making contact with the glaze so it stretches. Whenever I move my spatula, it will stretch and follow. The spatula is also coated in the glaze, and I cannot explain it as a smart person would, but it has to do with physics. So basically, if you have a coated object and you touch the same liquid, the liquids follow each other. And here you go. I'm just gently making sure that when I extend it, or when I just pull a little bit at the glaze, I don't know how to explain that, the glaze follows. That's already poured on top. And this is how you achieve the dripping effect. And yeah, I'm dripping all over the place. Okay, so I'm just pouring all the glaze on top, and then strategically I'm going to extend the glaze and make it flow over the edge. I'm going to speed the process up so you can see how I'm working it, and then I will take you to the next step. That is optional. I have decided to add some little decorations that I have prepared beforehand a few days ago. So I want to give it a more kawaii, cute look by adding some, I would say, embellishments that remind me of, you know, little sugared sprinkles, decorations such as a small bow, sugar pearls, and you will see I have some other stuff prepared, like this little matcha waffle and a little chocolate gingerbread man. So I'm just zhuzhing it up a little bit to make it look extra cute, extra appealing. You don't have to do this. It has nothing to do with chocolate. So if you want to, you can drop off at this point. But I thought I would just show you my finished creation and see how you like it. I prefer it that way, at least for this little project. Yeah, I will fast forward and then you will see the finished result. I hope you liked it, and yeah, let me know in the comment section if you would like to see more chocolate tutorials or maybe a specific type of baked good. It would be so much fun to know, and always gives me some input, motivation, and great ideas for my next video. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one.